Welcome to the Efficientpreneur Show with Ahmed Al-Karemli, where you learn how to build and scale your business profitability online with less time, effort, and cost, so you can enjoy a fulfilling lifestyle.
Hi everyone, this is Ahmed Al-Karemli and welcome to Be Efficient TV. The mission of this web TV show is to boost the efficiency of your business and life through tips and tricks from leading experts. And today I have with me Christy Whitman. She is the founder of Quantum Success Coaching Academy, and she is a New York Times best-selling author for 3 books, and she is an expert in the 7 essential universal laws, which is including the law of attraction. Welcome to the show, Christy.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. So how did you decide to take this authoring and coaching path, and what is your background?
I didn't really decide it. It does like it was decided for me. And I say that because I had a book come to me in a meditation, and I thought, well, that's interesting because it had the exact graphics of the book and it had my name on it and everything. And I saw this in a meditation. And I'm like, well, that's interesting, but I'm not an author, And I went to bed that night. And about 1:05 in the morning, I woke up with just all this chatting in my head. And it was like the first sentence, the first paragraph, basically the first chapter was just downloaded to me. And as hard as I tried, I couldn't roll back over and go to sleep. So I got up and I wrote down what I was hearing. And for 7 days in a row, that happened to me at 1:05 in the morning. So I figured, okay, there's something happening here. I think I have a book. So I asked an author that I had seen speak literally a week before, and asked her, I think I have a book that I'm writing. What do I do with it? So she said, go online and find a literary agent. So first I put in literary agent, publisher, and the first line was GMA Publishing, which back in that time I had no idea about publishing. And I ended up submitting my manuscript and he accepted it. So I had this book. And I did, after my friends and family bought it, it was like, okay, now what do I do with it? So I went and started speaking at spiritual bookstores and churches and places that people would want to hear this message. And when I was in doing the workshops, people would ask me, do you coach? I had no idea what coaching was, like life coaching. When I thought of coaching, I thought of like a football coach, a cheerleading coach. So I was very confused, and they said, yeah, coach us through the information in your book. And I said, well, just call me and I'll guide you through whatever you want me to. And I would get them on the phone and I'd help them do meditations and help them shift energy. And they were getting amazing results. So I just kind of left it at that. And I was still working as a pharmaceutical rep, and people were watching the success that I was having. And they're like, what are you doing? So I started coaching people that I was working with, and finally said, you know what, this coaching thing, I really enjoy it. I'm good at it. I love it. So I went to school for it. So here I am well over a decade later. So I'm an author, and I speak, and also a coach.
First book hit the New York Times list?
No. No. My third book did.
Why you were unhappy, and how did you turn your life into and what you were doing that time? You were into working in pharmaceutical industry, or?
Yeah, I learned about the universal laws about 18 years ago, and I started to apply it to pretty much every area of my life. You can't, when you start learning about it, you cannot not do that. And I really was unhappy. I was an unhappy person. And when I started to apply the universal laws, I started realizing that I really have a very lack mentality. I was always coming from a space of not enough. What I had was not enough. Who I wasn't enough. The people in my life weren't enough. They weren't doing enough. They weren't giving enough. And so it's a very unsatisfying, very offsetting a place to be in life. And as I started to understand that there's a difference between a lack mentality and an abundant mentality, I started shifting it thought by thought, belief by belief, emotion by emotion. And I'm still doing that to this day, 18 years later. We're always humans. We're always evolving. We always have our own growing edges. And so, now I don't have to do as much work on myself as I had to back then. But I still apply the same principles.
So how to figure out what we want and to be satisfied with what we have?
every subject, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be our businesses, our finances, our relationships. When everything is energy. And when we're sending out energy, meaning by when we send out energy, like we are energy, energy creators and transmitters, we're sending it out with our beliefs, our thoughts, our emotions. And when you are coming from a place that nothing is good enough, that this isn't good, and the perspective that this is bad, this is wrong, you're coming from a lack mentality. But when you start to look for what's good and right about this moment, about the person, about the job, about the business, about the money you have, it might not be exactly the over the moon kind of thing that you want or desire. But there's a law, one of my favorite laws actually, it's the law of sufficiency and abundance. And with that law, you have to at least be coming from a space of this is enough. I'm satisfied. I'm looking at the positive aspects. I'm taking the lessons that I'm learning from this moment. I don't love my boss, but at least the money I make at my job, allows me to do this or that or whatever it is. Like find some way of feeling some type of appreciation in whatever condition you have in your life. Because we can always find bad if we look for it, but we can always find good if we look for it. So we have to start training our perception. We have to be the one that starts to filter through the perception that things are good and okay, at least okay, if not great and wonderful.
So what are briefly the 7 universal laws that governs deliberate creation before we go into details for each one of them? And who created those laws? For each law there is a creator or founder, and then somebody have combined them and said that those laws are the ones that you need to. Just tell us more about that. This episode is brought to you by the Efficientpreneur Club. The Efficientpreneur Club is a private and affordable one-on-one business coaching club for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to build and scale their business profitability and performance with less time, effort, and cost, and without risking their freedom. So whether you are still figuring out the right business model, strategy, and pricing, or you need help to improve your funnels, ads, sales, and conversion, then the Efficientpreneur Club is for you. Your business challenges are not going to fix themselves unless you fix them today. And the consequences of not addressing that today is your business profitability and performance will not improve, and your relationships and health will continue to be affected. It's no wonder that building and scaling a business becomes so stressful over time, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Efficientpreneur Club will help you take your business to the next level with a private and affordable one-on-one coaching with me personally, tailored to your unique needs. I will help you clarify your direction, set a strategic action plan, and guide you step by step to build and scale your business efficiently. The Efficientpreneur Club will also provide access to an extensive how-to video library, the most highly recommended tools, and a supportive community of like-minded business owners to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice. The Efficientpreneur Club is the perfect place to be if you want to maximize your profits, minimize your workload, and scale your freedom and efficiency. So check it out at efficientpreneurclub.com and say bye-bye to generic courses, secretive gurus, and expensive mentors.
Well, that's a great question. The universe created these laws. They're universal laws. They've been around since the dawn of time. Nobody said, okay, now I'm creating the law of attraction. These are universal laws that govern the way our universe works. And it's the way when we learn how to work with them, our lives become a little bit easier, a lot easier, actually, a lot more fun, a lot more joyful. I was actually the one that pulled the different 7 essential laws together, because for me and all the studies that I've done over the years, there's more than 7 laws. But for me, these 7 laws are really the ones that all fit together. If you learn and master these 7 laws, it's like a huge, like almost 90% of what you need to know in order to shift your life and make it happy, if not 100%. It is for me. So I'm the one that pulled all of them together and said, these are my trinkets, right? These are the things that work for me. These are the laws that everybody must know. The other ones are good, nice to know. They're important, but these are essential, really essential. And so what they are is law of attraction, law of deliberate creation, law of allowing, law of sufficiency and abundance, law of pure potentiality, law of detachment, and law of polarity.
Who came up with the laws? Because as far as I know, that there is a founder for the law of attraction, somebody who created a movement or created the law for attraction. There is nothing like that. And what is the law of attraction?
Well, the law of attraction, I mean, it's been talked about since the dawn of time. It's been talked about not in so many words saying this is law of attraction, but Jesus, Buddha, it goes all the way back to there's threads of it in all the religions that we even have. So it's a universal principle. It's a spiritual principle. The people that actually brought law of attraction and said this is law of attraction was Abraham Hicks, and that was early in the early 80s. Other ways of saying it are the laws of deliberate creation.
So it's like religiously it was there, and there is scientifically somebody who have proved it or like called that it exists. And however, like religion always goes like side by side with science. And recently, like in the 70s or 80s, like somebody who like scientifically proved it or like kind of
they didn't scientifically prove it. It was more of a spiritual, like Abraham Hicks. If you don't know who they are a group of beings that are channeled by Esther Hicks, and so she channels their information and on law of attraction, deliberate creation, and she's been doing that since the early 80s. And so those beings, when they channeled through her, called this law of basically what you send out comes back, what you focus upon expands, as law of attraction.
So it's a way of positive thinking that I imagine that I'm gonna have this specific house at certain period of time, and then because of this positive thoughts, I will attract the thing to me. Or
yeah, that's a very simplistic, very elementary way of thinking of law of attraction. I don't mean to say it in that way, but I don't want to make it sound that easy, that if you just think positive thoughts and, I want $1 million, $1 million will fall on your head. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that simple, but it's not that easy in the sense that if we were that's why one law of attraction is not enough. There's other laws that we have to work with in order to manifest what we want. That's why I don't talk about just law of attraction. I talk about all 7 essential laws, because what happens is we have to be in a space of allowing our dream home to happen. We have to believe that it's possible. We have to detach from what it looks like or when it's going to come or how it's going to come. We also have to know that we are physical beings and we have to take action in the physical world. And we have to keep the energy we send out, the energy vibration we send out, at a higher vibration than a lower vibration. So that's where law of sufficiency and abundance comes in and kicks in. And we also have to take control over the way we feel and the way we think. So that's why all of them come together. It's not just positive thinking like, oh, let me think about the Maserati. Oh, let me go outside and see if it's in my car. It's not that simple. And I think that's a lot of people get tripped up on that. And they think it's going to be that easy, and then they get upset. What's wrong with me? Oh, law of attraction doesn't work. When it's a universal law, it works for every person. We just need to know. We go to kindergarten, right? And then we go to first grade, second grade. We don't go from kindergarten to master, become a master, whatever, get a master's degree.
So let's talk one by one in a bit of details, and then we try to combine them all and to prove
Sure.
that like all of them, how it works.
I have to say this because this is the basis of everything to even understand the universal laws. So taking a step back, we are more energy than we are matter. Everything in the physical universe is energy. We are always emitting energy and vibrations in this vibrational universe. Everything that's in this universe, whether it be money, a partner, success, a career, it doesn't matter. Traffic, losing your keys, everything. We have a vibrational relationship with everything that exists in the universe. That's energy, which is everything. So we have us, that's energy, having a relationship with everything that's vibrational. That's also energy. So that's important to understand. Now, with that, the energy that we emit, meaning the thoughts that we think, the beliefs that we hold, the things that we say, the things that we do, the emotions that we have, all of that get our energy out. It's a movement out. And that energy is going to then be attracted to like frequency or vibration. So things that match that. So if I'm coming from a low vibrational place and I'm in fear of money, that I'm not going to have enough, I'm not going to be paying my bills, that's a vibration that goes out and gets matched to circumstances, situations, event that will match that energetic vibration that I send out. If I'm fearing money and I say, okay, as a deliberate creator, so here's the second law of deliberate creation. We decide the energy we're emitting out. We're not just going to do it by default. We get to say, this is the energy I want. This is a vibration. These are the circumstances, situations I want to experience. So you're observing you don't have any money, for example, can't pay your bills. So what do I want? I want to feel like I have enough money in the bank. I want to feel free. I want to enjoy my life and take these vacations. Well, now you're getting yourself in a higher vibration. And if you stay there long enough, what you're doing is you're sending out a signal that's going to change your frequency from low to high. So law of attraction is just matching.
So what do I want is the law of attraction.
That's a
And
good
then
way of
what
thinking
do
of
I
it.
do
Yeah,
is more about
exactly.
the other laws.
So law of deliberate creation is basically I decide what I want to experience. So I decide I have one thing that I can control, and that's my vibration, that's my energy. So how am I going to think? How am I going to feel? And then I'm going to do what I need to do to get into that place. Because the third law is the law of allowing. And the law of allowing, when you're in that space of allowing, it feels good. You feel expanded, you feel aligned, you feel connected. When you're disallowing and you're in any type of resistance, fear, doubt, disbelief, sadness, resentment, any of those lower level emotions, I'm not saying bad emotions because all emotions are important. Those lower level emotions that then become a frequency set point, it also constricts us. And that Maserati that you want, or the avenue to get to the Maserati, can't be revealed because of the fact that you're so constricted. I don't know why I'm saying Maserati. I don't have a Maserati. I don't intend to have a Maserati, but the word Maserati keeps coming. So it's not even like one of my favorite cars, but it's just it's there. So I'm saying it. Maybe you want a Maserati. I don't know. No, okay. So I don't know. Maybe one of the people are watching. Anyway,
I don't know.
Doesn't matter what it is. I'm using Maserati
I like other
as
cars.
an example. So if you feel good, you're in a space of allowing. Are we good so far? Yeah. Okay. So just with those three laws, let me tie it together for you.
Yeah.
I'm in an allowing space. I put myself there because I didn't have enough money. I wanted to feel good. I got my space in a place of feeling good. I'm now feeling allowing. I'm in a higher vibration because now I'm not resisting. So law of attraction can then bring things. I'm now open. So law of attraction can now bring things to me. So that's just three laws.
Yeah, and the first one I say I want something. And what I do, then the next one will come. All right, the next law.
Well, Abraham Hicks talks about there's three steps to even law of attraction. Identifying what you want. And then the universe basically goes into creating. There's a vibrational vortex of what we want that's already been created energetically. And then it's up to.
Do you believe in universe, or you believe in God, or you believe in development or evolution? What do you believe in?
It's all the same thing. It's
like you think that, let's say the theory of evolution came from God? Like example, I just want to know how you think.
It's all one. It doesn't matter if you call it God or goddess or all that is or evolution or we are evolution because we're still evolving. And that spark of inspiration that comes within us is that God self within. And that's the part of us that expands in our own desires. And that's how we evolve. That's how we're creators. So that's what I believe. I believe there's only one source. And that source is a creator. And the fact that the source creates allows evolution to happen.
If you want the Islamic point of view, which is we believe that our book, which is protected, the only book which is protected, let's say Christianity came from the same book, we believe. And the Quran is the only book which is protected by God. till this day. That's why there is no one letter change till this day, not like the Bible, like people manipulated by the power and money and these things, because the God, for reason or another, released the latest updated version of religion, so he protected the Quran. So he's saying that in Quran that we created the man in the same shape, which is from Adam till this day. So as Muslims, we don't believe in the evolution theory. But I get from where you are like talking about that something, a creation, a universe, it doesn't matter if it's like God or something. You want to make it more generalized, that there is something that create this power.
Yeah,
I get this point. Then what is the
That's
next
a good
step?
point. This knowing about the universal laws doesn't go against any religions, because it's a universal principles. There's spiritual principles that Buddha, Jesus, it doesn't matter, Muhammad, they all talked about it, and it's the energy behind it. It's knowing that you can, as a human being, you have your own free will to think what you want to think, feel what you want to feel. And based on that, that's what you're going to create in your experience. Now, there's going to be contrast that shows up, things that we necessarily don't want, but it's up to us to decide how are we going to feel, how are we going to think about this condition or this circumstance that does show up. Does that make sense? And all of it is for our own evolution, our own creation, our own expansion. So, yes, so the fourth law is the law of sufficiency and abundance. And the law of sufficiency and abundance is really that everything in the universe, it is abundant. I don't care if you go to the Sahara Desert, you cannot count how many grains of sand. Try to go count that. It's impossible. There's an abundance of sand. Go to the Pacific Ocean and try to count how many waves or how many ounces of water. How many galaxies? We don't even know. We're in one galaxy. There's more galaxies even out there. There's more stars in the sky that we can even count. So nature, in its infinite intelligence, leaves on a tree. We can't sit there and count all of them. There's too many, and there's always more coming.
So this we apply it on, let's say, money. There is countless amount of money that we have to attract. Okay.
There's pure potentiality in everything. And if we believe and can connect with the energy of abundance, it's not just even believing, it's feeling that sense of abundance. Abundance has a high vibration, whereas lack has a low vibration. And if we're believing in lack and feeling like there's not enough, or I'm not good enough, or he's not doing enough, those kind of things, we're in lack and limitation. We're always constricted, so we're never in a state of allowing. And what comes back to us from law of attraction is more of the same. It's law. So when you're getting to a place of abundance and you align with the truth of our universe, which is abundance, you start to see evidence of abundance all over your life.
But aligning means believing that I believe that there is limitless of whatever I want.
Believing is part of aligning. It's literally feeling. It's feeling that source within you. It's feeling that abundance and that connection with that energy of abundance, because everything's energy in the universe. So when you connect and align with that feeling of abundance, you're also connected with source, because source is abundance.
Number five.
The law of pure potentiality. The law of pure potentiality is that, again, there are no limitations in the universe. The only limitations are the ones that we impose on ourselves. So the fact that we can think of a thought and think of something that we desire, there is potential, whether we believe it or not, there is that potential to create whatever it is we thought about in the universe, because there is no lack and limitation in the universe. The universe can make things happen that we don't even know. The universe can surprise and delight us beyond our wildest dreams, because we're in our limited thinking that this can happen or that can't happen. But with the universe, there's pure potentiality.
But it's not the same it looks like the same like number 4 law. What's the name of number 4 and number 5?
Law of sufficiency and abundance. Yeah, they're different in the sense that there's lack, there's abundance. Which side are you going to be on? And in order to start feeling abundance, it's not just the law of abundance, it's the law of sufficiency and abundance. You have to feel at least satisfied with where you're at that's like the doorway into abundance, because you can't create abundance from a space of lack. So
how can we separate between satisfaction and perfection? How we can balance?
That's a great question. That's a really great question. Perfection, that's my first book that I wrote about. It's called Perfect Pictures. And like I wrote about in Perfect Pictures, we have an idea of what perfection looks like, right? It's societal, it's our own beliefs of what perfect looks like. And unless it looks a certain way, it's not perfect. And then what seems to happen is once we make something perfect or try to make something perfect, we then want something more, something else is different, because you're coming from the perspective that this right here is not enough. So something needs to be changed in order for it to become perfect. Whereas satisfaction is, it's perfect as it is. It's good enough as it is. Nothing has to be fixed or changed in order for it to meet some kind of standard or goal. It is what it is. It's an allowing space. Make sense?
So it's a way of like how we shift our mindset to think about it in this way, so we can feel satisfied. Number 6.
Number 6 is the law of detachment. And you're going to say, isn't this a lot like law of allowing? And it is similar, but it's got different nuances. So that's why it's important to learn these. So law of detachment is basically that anything you want in the physical universe, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. Because if you're feeling, when's it coming? Where is it? How is he coming? Who is he? You know, like all the things that we want this thing. Well, I want this business. When are my clients coming? Where are they going to, when are they going to show up? How am I going to, all the hows and all that kind of stuff. That really is the place where we're attached. And with that comes anxiety and fear. Excuse me for just a minute. So it comes that anxiety and that fear. And there's a certain attachment to it. And when we're, think about when you got a closed fist, you can't receive anything. To receive something, you need an open hand. And so when you think of a goal that you want or a desire that you have, if your energy is like anxious and fearful and doubting, you are in some way attached to the outcome. And you're also limiting the universe. It's got to look like this. So you have to be almost detached in where and when and how and who and all that. Just knowing that the essence of what you want and the desire will manifest if you keep taking the steps.
What's the difference between satisfaction and fulfillment?
That's a good question too. For me, satisfaction is, this is enough for now. This is enough. Like, this is good enough. Like, these are the positive aspects. Fulfillment for me feels like just like you can't possibly add any more to this. It's full. But again,
it's the highest level of satisfaction.
Yes, but the thing to remember too, in this physical universe where everything is energy, there was always emptiness and then fulfillment, and then emptiness and fulfillment, and we need both. Like, we take a breath in, and that's our fulfillment, and then we take a breath out, and we empty. So there's always this energetic flow that's happening, and it's why it's important to understand energy. I'm sorry? And the last law. The last law is the law of polarity. And the law of polarity really means that any subject is really a lot of subjects. So for example, you've got temperature, okay? Temperature is a subject, it's a thing. But on one extreme, you could have really, really hot. And on the other hand, you could have extreme cold. And then you can have a spectrum of everything in between. So for example, someone that's wanting to attract money. Well, I'm focused on money. How come I'm not attracting money? I mean, where is it anyway? I mean, I really need this money. I'm focusing on law of attraction. I'm being positive. I'm focused. I'm like saying I want the money. Yeah, but the pole that you're on is way in lack. Instead of feeling relaxed, allowing, feeling detached when it's going to come, getting a hold of your thoughts and your emotions, that they're coming from a positive expectation type of place, yet you're aligned with the abundance, that you're knowing that there's pure potential in the whole entire universe. When you're on that side of the pole, that's when law of attraction kicks in and gives you money. That's how all of them work together.
And those like 7 laws, you think that adds fulfillment, happiness? What exactly those 7 laws add? If you have enjoyed today's episode, I would like to invite you to check out efficientpreneurclub.com. The Efficientpreneur Club is the right membership for you if you've been working to grow your business for a while now and things aren't happening as fast as you want. If you are tired of generic courses, secretive gurus, and expensive mentors who charge $2,000 to $5,000 a month, then fob you off onto sub-coaches or connect with you in group coaching calls. If you are already stressed out about your business model, sales, productivity, team, and systems. If you are scrambling in the evenings and on the weekends and you never have time for yourself and your family. Those problems are not going to fix themselves unless you fix them today. Why? Because your business profitability and performance are not going to change unless you do, and your relationships and health will continue to be affected. Building and scaling a business becomes so stressful over time, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Efficientpreneur Club is a private and affordable one-on-one business coaching club for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to build and scale their business profitability and performance with less time, effort, and cost, and without risking their freedom. The Efficientpreneur Club will help you take your business to the next level with a private and affordable individual coaching with me personally. I tailor the program to your unique needs. I will help you clarify your direction, set a strategic action plan, and guide you step by step to build and scale your business efficiently. The Efficientpreneur Club will also provide access to an extensive how-to video library, the most highly recommended tools, and a supportive community of like-minded business owners to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice. The Efficientpreneur Club is the perfect place to be if you want to maximize your profits, minimize your workload, and scale your freedom and efficiency. So check it out at efficientpreneurclub.com and say bye-bye to generic courses, secretive gurus, and expensive mentors. To my life
It
or
adds
our
what you
life. If I master them.
Yeah,
if
it
we
adds
master
whatever
them.
you want them to add. And why I say that is because if you're looking for just trinkets of success out here, you want the wife and you want the husband, or you want the car, or you want the house, or you want the, business, all those things, they can absolutely, those laws will help you manifest all those things. But what's most important in working with universal laws, it's not an outside in, like if I get this, then I'll be happy. You have to be happy in order to attract the things. So if you want to have outrageous success, you have to feel the feeling of success within yourself. And then you magnetize those things to you. You draw those things to you. Yes, you still take action, but you are now coming from a place of feeling satisfied. And you have more things to be satisfied with. So applying the universal laws helps with the emotions that we want to experience. So whatever that is for you, I always say to someone, what's the essence of what you want? Is it, is the most important thing for you to feel freedom? Then cultivate that feeling of freedom, because what's going to happen is freedom for you will then be reflected from other things in the world. So for years ago, I was like, freedom is really the most important energy that I vibrate in. I really love the feeling of freedom. I have to feel that feeling of freedom. And because of that, I've attracted everything in my life that reflects that vibration. So money, for example, and the kind of business that I have, and the husband that I have, and kids that I have, everything is reflective of that vibration of freedom. If you want to feel love, and that's the dominant vibration you want to experience, then the outer reality of things will reflect that vibration of love, contentment, success, joy.
You write about relationships, how to attract the right partner.
How do you attract your ideal partner? Well, first and foremost, you have to get clear. Like, what do you want in a partner? What don't you want? Like, think about all the other past relationships that you've had, the qualities that you didn't necessarily appreciate about someone, and then ask, like, what's the opposite of that? So, for example, in a past relationship, I had someone that was, not motivated, very lazy. I wanted someone that was motivated. I also had someone that didn't really believe in universal laws and didn't want to work on themselves. Like personal development wasn't important. I want someone that's really into working on himself and doing this work and learning about universal laws. That's spiritual. So you look at the things that you don't want because we're so used to doing that. We're so trained in doing that. And then you ask yourself, what do I want? And then from that place, you make a list and make sure that everything you put on that list you actually believe is possible. Because again, law of pure potentiality. You have to detach from when this person is going to come, what they're going to look like, who they're going to be. I mean, I put on my list physically attractive because that's important to me. I want to be attractive to the person. So I was very clear, wrote down all the qualities, characteristics, things that mattered to me, things that were really important. And I could have, dated anybody, not anybody, but what I'm saying? I could have attracted someone else, but maybe I wasn't physically attracted to, or maybe didn't have that spiritual connection that I wanted. So I held out, I detached, I knew the universe would bring me him, and I met my husband, Frederick. So it's, again, applying the universal laws. I detached from the places where I was like, is that him? When's he coming? Who's he going to be? Where's he going to be? How, all that kind of stuff, right? And I had to get on the pole of, I believe he's there, and I'm detached.
But after he comes, also you need to analyze his features. Let's say what's the things that you like or things that you don't like. Things that he has. I mean.
He had all the positive aspects, and he's not perfect. He's got flaws. We all do. We all have our points of growth. But in my list and in my desire, the things that are his flaws or his growth points aren't deal breakers for me.
Do you believe in equalizing the woman with the man and everything?
I believe there's feminine and masculine energy. And I believe there needs to be a balance in a relationship. So my husband might take on more feminine qualities and I might take on more masculine where it relates to some issues in our lives or some situation, but we balance each other really well. And then I might be more in my feminine and where he steps up and becomes more masculine. So it's more of not equal, it's more of a balance.
What's the energetic grid and how to deal with it?
It's a great question. Everything's energy, and everything from a coming from, now I'm not a scientist, but this is what I do know. Everything coming from a place of just energy, like this right here is just energy. And if you take your hands together and you start to go like this, you can actually feel energy pulsating. This is energy. To get this to come from energy into some kind of physical manifestation, a cup, a computer, whatever it is, it needs to go through a process. It has to turn from energy into particles and subatomic particles and atoms and right? It all sets up through an energetic grid. That's how it starts. It's like a grid. And so we all have grids. We all have ideas on money. And if we can work with our grids and look at our grids and see where is our grids just mucked up and, full of just lack and limitation, and clear out those energetic grids, it helps in working with energy to attract what you want.
Talking a lot about energy, I don't know why Interstellar, the movie, came to my mind.
Did
you see the movie?
Yes, past weekend. I did. I was very, it's what I teach. And so I left there even more expanded than my own knowledge, because one of the things that
it's very emotional. There are some scenes.
Yeah,
amazing.
Absolutely. Well, one thing that got me, and I talk about this we train coaches to do this in the Quantum Success Coaching Academy, is working with your future self. And I've been working with my future self for so long. And it's amazing to me because I literally live my life now from the future self that I created 5 years ago or 3 years ago. And so every once in a while I'll be like, oh my gosh, I totally envisioned this. This was my future self. And now I'm living it. And so that movie helped me understand that future self really does exist. And it's sending us messages and information all the time, because in quantum physics, there are thousands of possible future selves that exist out there. And some are okay futures, some are better than okay, some are amazing and awesome and the best possible things. And when we can align and connect with that future self, that future self that does exist in a totally different time spectrum than we have, that future self can then send us information, give us gifts, tell us to go this way instead of that way, give us that impulse to call this person or don't call this person. You could create a relationship that guides you from a future self.
What's the difference between meditation and
In prayer, prayer is a form of meditation. There are thousands of ways to meditate. Really, meditation is getting out of the outside world. It's taking the outside world away and focusing within. It's getting aligned and connected. So you could do a walking meditation, even though you're outside in the physical world. Your presence is focused on the step that you're taking. And there's just full presence in that moment. It's a getting rid of the monkey mind thoughts and things like that. But when you are praying, let me say this. If you're praying for what you do want, and you're praying for peace, and you're coming from that pole of like expecting the prayer to happen and it being from a positive place, that's a form of meditation. If you're like, oh God, please, and you're begging and you're like in doubt and you're in fear and all that kind of stuff, that's not a space of meditation because you're in that space of lack. So maybe pray, I'd like some more love instead of fear, or I'd like some more patience instead of being impatient. But a lot of times people pray because they're like on their knees, I can't take it anymore, that kind of thing. That's not a form of meditation.
What's the formula that you teach to create the ideal body?
Well, like everything I've been talking about, it's really working with the universal laws. Because like when people want to lose weight, for example, it is about diet and exercise. We need to move our bodies. We need to eat properly. But the biggest component why most people can't sustain the weight that they want to be at, or why they don't lose weight and keep it off, for example, or why they're not in really great health, is because their mindset. Oh, you gain weight when you get older. So then that becomes their reality. Or, my family's always been overweight. So then that they live into that. The mindset and the energy that we bring in. Oh, I don't have what it takes to look beautiful. It's coming from the lack and not the abundant side of the pole. So we need to align ourselves with what we truly do want. My mom always had a big stomach, so therefore I think I'm going to. Or, or once you get kids, you're always going to be sick. I bought into that one. It's knowing that you have control of your own immune system and you can create the body that you want, but it's feeling the body that you want before it even has manifested.
How long, like when some people or patients or people needs help comes to you, like how long this process takes to shift them, like they are desperate about money or about achieving something, to put them in this mindset, like, status and try to shift their life into, from negativity to positivity? How long usually it takes? I know it varies, but like, I think you have kind of a general time limit.
Yeah, well, I do want to make this point, and you made the point, but I really want to make this point. It's not about the time, it's a matter of how much resistance someone has. So if someone has a lot of resistance and a lot of bad programming, say on money, then it's going to take them more inner work and therefore probably take a lot more time. Although it could happen really quick if someone shifts and lets all the resistance go. So it does take a process, and how deep the resistance is really depends on the amount of time. But I do see people that have come on my teleseminars and, wanted to attract money and start to attract like a lot of money, like $25,000, $50,000, like literally overnight, $10,000. Oh my gosh, I just got a check in the mail and it's overnight. It could happen in a couple of days. I've had other people that just really struggle with it because they've got so much resistance on money. So it really is dependent on the law of allowing, how much they allow it and how much they're willing to let go and do their inner work and release the resistance that they have.
So you advise them to do some, actionable things, like let's say do some sport or meditation so they can relax to allow. Or
it's perfectly well said. Pet your cat, play with your dog, play with your kids, do something that you feel good about, that the resistance will subside. Because it's all about resistance. That's what blocks us from being in an allowing space.
What do you advise the people in the downtime? Like all of us have it, like what they should do to change their mood and get out of this depression, like in our downtime.
It's important to always pay attention to how you feel. So one of the things I recommend to people is like take a post-it note and put it on your computer or your phone, or set an alarm on your phone, or put it in your car, and just check in, like how are you feeling? And check in with how you're feeling, because if you're feeling bad, it's because you're having thoughts. Everything's vibration. So if you're tuning into a low vibration and you're choosing thoughts that are matching that vibration. So try to find a better feeling thought, because the thoughts always come before the emotion that we're feeling. And if you're feeling good, great. You can even amplify it. There's a process called the 68-second process, where it takes literally 17 seconds to shift a vibration. You keep doing that up until 68 seconds. That's when law of attraction kicks in vibrationally. So even if you're feeling good, you can think of something like, oh my gosh, this was so great, this happened, and really amp up your vibration to make yourself feel even better. If you're feeling bad, and feeling depressed, find out what are your thoughts that you're thinking. I say this to my kids, and it's so elementary, but it's so true. If they're feeling bad, I'm like, what are you thinking? Well, Maxim won't play with me. Do you need Maxim to play with you, or can you go have fun on your own? It's like you're being in a place of total, like, I can't play now because he doesn't want to play with me. Go up and play with yourself. Go do something yourself. And so we have to change our thoughts in order to change the manifestation. For the manifestation equation is our beliefs give birth to our thoughts. Our thoughts give birth to our emotions. Our emotions give birth to our behaviors. So if we're behaving in a way that's not empowering, we need to change the emotions, but we need to go back and change the thoughts. And you change the thoughts by changing your beliefs.
Yeah, I can feel the energy from here. It's amazing, your energy. Like your husband sometimes is not telling you that I cannot control this energy or the vibration when you come home, and he just amazing, your energy. I can feel it from here. So let's go more into the professional life as an author or expert. How do you market for your live events?
Well, the only live events I do is with my community that's of the QSCA, which is the coaching certification. So my two live events that I personally do and put on, I do a business event for the coaches, and then I do an event just for women called the Goddess Week, the Goddess Rising Experience. And so those are the only two events that I put on every year. And I get the community, I attract the community to go into the QSCA, because I believe that no matter what I do, it's all about adding value. So I have a weekly internet show that I do on ChristyWhitman.com, where I teach people, anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes each week on different aspects of the universal laws. So it's a video show. When it's time to open up registration for the QSCA, we do a bunch of video series. So I'm giving tons of information, tons of value on coaching. So that's how I've done my business, is that it's all about giving. It's all about giving value. And the people that resonate with what I'm teaching will then want to come and coach with me, join my programs, read my books, those type of things.
So Quantum Success Coaching Academy is an event, or there is a course?
It's a course. It's a 12-month course. It's a law of attraction certification course to become a coach.
How much it costs? And is it a weekly, one-to-one, one-on-one?
You're in a group. It's a group coaching program. And you're in a group, in a classroom, basically on the phone. So we have coaches in India. We have coaches, all over the world. Italy, Greece, US, Canada. So everybody either listens to the calls from a teacher. We have a teacher that teaches, there's about 40 people in a class, and they teach on the phone, but you listen through either your speakers on your computer, or you can be on the phone with them, and you can interact with them by asking questions, things like that.
Like now with the internet, there is a crazy number of coaches, and what's your advice for the coaches out there to market themselves, to stand out and survive from what they're trying to do? Like lots of huge number of life coaches I see nowadays, and personal coaches. So what's your advice to
That's a
them?
great question. My advice is always what I tell people in business. It's you have to work with the universal laws because they're the rules that govern our universe. And one of the laws is the law of pure potential, or excuse me, law of polarity. With the way I like to describe this as it relates to business is the subject is us, but we are on opposite poles. We are metaphysical beings and we are physical beings. So in business, you have to do both. You have to align yourself with the energy and the vibration that you want to receive. So if you want your business to be successful, you need to feel and vibrate from that place of success. And you need to work with law of allowing to make sure that there is any resistance that comes in there, so being in that place of abundance, again, applying all the universal laws like we talked about. Then also there's the physical part of us. That's where we have to learn about marketing. We have to learn strategies that work. We have to learn what we want to work on. I mean, there's so many different ways of marketing yourself as a coach. So pick an area. Maybe it's working on Facebook, or it's doing live events, or it's going and doing speaking engagements. That's how I started out when I first got my book. I went and started speaking at churches and communities, and I would gather people's names and emails and I kept in touch with them, and I would deliver them tons of value. And what happens is you have to be patient because this is a business. And I see a lot of coaches, they get really impatient and then they quit because you are building a business and it does take time. It took me time too. So stick with it. If you don't quit, you can't fail.
So you suggest that they give value for free and keep adding value until start building list of customers, and then they start getting let's say paid engagements, speaking engagements.
It's important. It's important to know what your strategies are and know how you want to get people into your marketing funnel, how you're going to serve them. Those are important strategies to know.
Who's helping you with your internet marketing strategies? How many people working with you? Is there a specific company or people offline, full-time working
I've
with you?
actually been working with a company since the very beginning that I started my business, and she's a woman from Fusion Online Marketing named Terry Romine, and she has about 4 or 5 people that work for her. So they do all of my technical stuff that I don't care to do. That's also another thing, as a business tip that I can give people is that know what your skills and know what your passions are, and the rest of it, give it to someone else to do. Because for me to learn internet marketing in the sense of coding and, putting up videos and all that kind of stuff, I don't want to do that. I want to deliver my message in front of the video camera. I want to give from my heart and serve. I want to coach people to help them change their lives. I want to write books. I want to teach. These are the things that I do. Everything else, I have a team of people, and it wasn't like I hired everybody overnight. I started with Terry first, and she automized, my emails that I sent out to people. And, then it grew from there. But get people, I don't like to do bookkeeping and accounting. I have accountants. I have a bookkeeper. My husband is the director of finance for the company. He watches the numbers. I don't care to do that stuff. I just want to teach. I want to share what I know about the universal laws and help people change their lives. So that's been one of the keys to my success is I don't waste my time on things that drain me and I don't like. I hire people that are experts in that do like doing it and can be part of an amazing team. I have a dream team. They're amazing.
How do you write efficiently, and which time of the day you prefer to write, and how you plan your writing?
I actually don't. I write when I'm inspired. And when I have a project or something due, I will make sure I meditate, and then I'll block out some time in the morning because I know that for me, I'm most creative in the morning. So I make sure that if I do have something like a chapter that's due in my new book or, something like that, I'll go ahead and make sure I'm doing my metaphysical work first. So I'll meditate, then I'll take the time in the morning, and then I'll go on to other things. But typically, if I'm writing, how I write is things come in concepts to me. So I just boom, and it's oh my gosh, I need a pen. This is great stuff, right? And so then I got to write it down and start allowing the source to come through me. And so once I have the concept down, so that could be in the middle of a car ride with my kids, I'm I need a pen, once I
But you don't do outline for a
Well,
book
no,
or
that's what I'm saying. Once the download comes, like this book, The Art of Having It All, it's just coming out in 2015. It was literally just downloads, and I had to take a journal and a pen with me everywhere I went because I was constantly getting, downloads.
you prefer to write or you
No,
dictate,
I
you
write.
speak?
I'm definitely a writer, and it just something happens. Like my hand just goes by itself when I write, so it's pretty cool. But then after that download process has happened, that's when I go in and start to expand on the things that I downloaded and put in my ideas or my examples, and then having to organize it into cohesive chapters.
Publishing or self-publishing, and
They're
why?
both very different. Both of them have very different, benefits and advantages and things like that. If you, the world of publishing is so different. Before it was like if you self-published, you couldn't get on major media TV, and that's not the case anymore. You're going to have to do most of your marketing, whether you publish or not. Like the days of authors.
Now, if you have the option of publishing or self-publishing, which one would you choose now for
I would
yourself?
probably self-publish. You can make more money per book. You have more control. Like this last book, it's kind of a self-published, but not. It is a publisher, but it's a feeling of a self-publishing. Every word that went into that book, it was my words. It wasn't changed. I'm going to make more money per book that's sold than if it was, just a publisher. I'm getting a royalty. I basically can have creative control in the marketing of it. So it allows me to really speak my voice in a very authentic way.
The one that hits the New York Times bestseller list
It
was
was
published
published.
or
It was called,
self-published?
it was published by Ben Bell.
And you still would go with self-publishing now if you make a new one. How to get into the list? Like, can you tell us about the process? How much sales you need, within how long to hit the
The
list?
New York Times, if you're looking to hit the New York Times list, they take it in during a 7-day cycle. So it has to be within a week. And you have to sell anywhere from 11 to 15,000 copies of your book, depending on what also comes out that week. If you have like 50 Shades of Grey coming out, or you got Harry Potter coming out, that tends to get people to buy those books. So you probably have to sell more books during that week. So good to know that stuff. But it's a combination of people buying in stores and online. So a lot of people are doing online campaigns to hit, Amazon, #1 Amazon, and become a bestseller on Amazon, but they don't hit the New York Times list because they're not getting also a sample of the brick and mortar stores, and it needs to be both.
So if I'm not in the bookstores, I cannot hit the New York
Exactly.
Times bestselling list. And as a self-publisher, it's very difficult to be in this
It depends
in the
on.
stores.
Well,
So it's not your.
it depends, because if you self-publish, you want to work obviously with, a distributor. Like there's pure self-publishing, and I've done that route. I wrote how to tell if your college friends are suicidal and what to do about it. That was complete self-publishing. I own the rights to it. Anything like any distribution, I had to do the legwork. And then there's a spectrum. Then there's like this is kind of self-publishing what I'm doing, even though I have a publisher. But it's kind of like the feeling of self-publishing. So my publisher basically has taken care of all the distribution and has gotten it into like the Amazons and Barnes and Nobles. And
So you get a distributor,
Yes.
but you own the rights.
Yeah.
And which
well,
distributors
the
you
big
deal
ones
with?
are like Ingram and Taylor, and there's another one. I've lost it right now. Anyway.
No worries. What else you do to market the book? Like when you have a book that you are launching soon, what you do? What are the steps or things that you
Well,
have to do?
you have to get it in people's hands. You gotta get people reading it and reviewing it and getting them to do reviews. I mean, the best way to market a book is getting people to recommend a book, getting people to just say, hey, this is my friend Christy, and I'd love for you to check out her new book. I mean, that goes a long way. Getting on social media and doing things like that so that people are passing along, like, hey, this is my friend. She just, wrote a book, or this is this great teacher. She just wrote a book, so that people are saying, hey, you got to buy this book. I just read it. It's fantastic. It's taught me this and that. Word of mouth is the best type of marketing. There's so many different strategies. You could do TV, you could do podcasts on the internet. There's tons of different ways.
What are the tools or software that you use to make you more efficient?
Well, I have Infusionsoft, it organizes my database on everything, and my team. I mean, they take care of all that stuff so that I don't have to.
How your work and life routine look like from the time you wake up till you sleep?
Well, I usually wake up and I meditate, and then I go work out. And like this morning, I was up at 5:00. And, but this is not typical, like my days are always different. But today I meditated, I went and worked out, I came home, I cuddled with my boys, I made them breakfast, I drove them to their little school and came home and had a lovely breakfast with my husband and talked for a while and meditated a little bit more and then started my workday.
Do you follow any routine to sleep?
I like to get a good 7 hours if I can. That's prime for me.
Oh, what you do before you sleep, like,
yeah,
or
I
just yeah.
I always try to. It's really important, either first thing in the morning or right before you go to bed, to put positive messages in your mind, because that's when our brains are most receptive. So my practice is always the same. I wake up and I meditate, and I make sure that the thoughts that I'm thinking are always high positive thoughts, because that's what's going to start the energy for the day. And then before I go to bed, I either read a book, maybe a page or two, just to get good positive thoughts in my head, and I meditate on what I have read in that book.
What are your other hobbies?
Well, I love to work out. I like to ski. I like to go shopping. I like to spend time with my girlfriends. It's almost like my career is my hobbies. Like, I love to write. I love to create. I love to manifest.
Which product or service or book made you the most of the money? Is it like digital products, books?
Well, the big part of my business is the QSEA. Yeah.
The coaching.
Yeah.
Top 3 mentors.
Top 3 mentors. My first one I would have to say is Karen Lamarck Wilson. She's an amazing mentor, and she's still my coach. Amazing woman. I would have to say Ken Stone is also a fantastic mentor for me. And I'm trying to think who else. Brendan Burchard was a good mentor years ago for me.
Top 3 books.
On the top of the list is Ask and It Is Given. It's my very favorite book ever. Yeah. Ask and It Is Given from Abraham Hicks. Absolutely. Any of their books are amazing. I would have to say that book is definitely first. Soul Love from Sanaya Roman. That's a fantastic book. And the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. That's a great book as well.
Top 3 people that you're inspired by.
My kids are, first of all, number one, my husband. And, I'd have to say Matthew McConaughey, just recently seeing Interstellar. He really is a male version of having it all. And
you've seen Dallas Club, something club,
Dallas,
the AIDS
Dallas
movie?
Buyers Club. Yeah.
See, the acting was better, like, even then.
Oh, he's
his acting, yeah.
He just, he's just in his work, and you can see he's just full of life and joy, and he lives by these principles. You can tell.
Top 3 apps that you use on your smartphone.
I don't use any. I think Facebook and Skype, but other than that, I don't use any.
Top 3 most important factors for success in 3 words.
Know yourself. Know yourself.
Do you listen to any music when you work?
Not when I work, but I listen to music in the morning and at night, and I love dance music, and I love like pop music and, songs like that.
What are the habits that you're trying to develop to stay efficient?
staying focused, always knowing what my projects are that I'm working on and picking the top three, and being really clear on what my priorities are, because things can come at us a lot. And I could say yes to everything and I would be just totally scattered and wouldn't be happy. So knowing what my three priorities are and sticking to those.
Last two questions. What makes you really happy, and how people can contact you?
What makes me really happy is when I'm connected to myself, my goddess self. Because whatever I do, whatever I look at, whatever conditions I have in my life, it's always coming from a higher place. So that's number one. And how they can contact me is ChristyWhitman.com.
Thank you so much, Christy, for the great information. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone. Be efficient and stay efficient, and see you soon with another leading expert. Thanks for watching or listening. It means the world to me if you would leave an honest review of the show on iTunes or any other podcast platform that you are listening through. And big thanks to all the people who have already reviewed the show.
Discover how to build and scale your business profitability and performance with less time, effort, and cost. Check out efficientpreneur.com.